Howdy folks, I'm Crafty Common Branded Skipper, cutely curtsying to creepy centipedes.
I'm Amber.
Here are more creepy centipedes for us to curtsy to. You ask why would we do that, and I ask why not. They're very friendly centipedes, despite the fact that they are very creepy, much like this story we're about to read. Let's get started. Oh, and folks, as you can see, we've redone the intro screen a little bit. So let us know what you think of that. I'm probably going to run it for a few days yet to see what folks have to say about it and if you like it or not. But I still do have the old one if you prefer the old one. So yeah. Alright folks, and our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Kicking My Husband's Stepmother Out of Our Wedding and Telling Her That She Was Never His Mother? My husband and I, both 26, got married a couple of weeks ago. During the wedding, my husband's 4 older sisters, all 10 plus years older than him, surprised him with a dance to honor their mother who died when my husband was very young. He danced with each sister individually before all 5 of them danced together. It was such a beautiful moment and a standout for all the right reasons for my husband and his sisters. But during their dance, their stepmother started kicking up a fuss. It all started with her trying to storm out onto the dance floor and insisting that the dance be with her instead. 2 of my sister-in-law's husbands were trying to stop her. I went over and I tried to calm her down, but she was furious. She was talking about assaulting my sister-in-laws for stealing the moment from her. I had to ask my sister-in-law's husbands if they would help me get her out, because she was going to ruin it for them otherwise. She didn't like that and told me that she's my husband's mother, and that if a mother-son dance was going to happen, then it only made sense for her to do it. She then called me a bee for helping them plan this, and just kept repeating that she was his mother, and I had no right to remove her. I told her that she was never his mother, and her behavior right now just proved that. Then I alerted security at the venue that we didn't want her to be back in, which they thankfully listened to. It did cause a small disruption, but my husband and sister-in-laws didn't notice at the time. I did let him know. Father-in-law didn't notice either. He was in another area watching his kids dance. When I told my husband, he was appreciative of me for stepping in and his 2 brother-in-laws who helped. His stepmother's fury has not faded though. She has caused such an upheaval. And my husband and his dad are fighting about it now too. My husband told them that I did nothing wrong and I only spoke the truth. His stepmother said that he raised him since he was 7 and she's done so much for him, and that the strain from going unappreciated almost broke them up once already. This was a year ago. Father-in-law and his wife separated for 6 months before working things out, but it did come close to them filing for divorce. My husband and sister-in-laws were not upset by that though, at all, and would have welcomed an end to all contact with their stepmother. I've always known that they tolerate the stepmother for their dad. This includes my husband, who was a child when she married his dad. This does not appear to be blowing over, and I hate that this has strained the relationship my husband has with his father. So I want to ask if I'm the jerk for my actions, and did I go too far? Should I have just kicked her out of the wedding and bit my tongue? Should I have kept her away and waited to see if she would calm down? All right, folks, what do you think?
I don't think Opie's in the wrong for this. Because it sounds like Opie's husband has never considered her to be a mother, and it sounds like she is always trying to inappropriately insert herself. It's very important that she didn't get to ruin the moment that Opie's husband had with his sisters.
Yeah.
It sounds like a very touching tribute to their mother. And so I think Opie and the brothers-in-law did the right thing by getting her out of the venue.
Yeah, this is an unfortunate situation. I can understand why the stepmother would be upset, because it sounds like being in their lives was something that was really important to her, and she thought that she was going to be at least in this role of being the, mother-son dance type thing. But this was OP and their husband's wedding, and she needed to respect that. And certainly, she did raise him since he was 7, but that doesn't mean that he has to accept her as their mother or replace his mother, right?
Right. And I mean, this feels like another one of those tip of the iceberg type of
Mm-hmm.
situations where if she's willing to inappropriately insert herself at the wedding, what other situations has she tried to
Yeah.
overwrite OP's husband and his sister's history with their mother?
Yeah, so like you said, this seems like this is just the very, very tip of the iceberg, and that there's probably a lot of other things going on here. I can't blame OP for kicking them out. What do you think? Do you think that OP was wrong for kicking them out?
No.
Or what about saying that she isn't the OP's husband's mother?
I mean, I think she needs to come to recognize the truth is that OP's husband has never viewed her as a mother. His sisters have never viewed her as a mother. And, I mean, I understand that it's hurtful to hear, but also at the same time, if it's the truth, it's the truth, And so I don't think it was meant maliciously. It was meant more like you're literally not their mother. You need to back off.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if it wasn't said with malice, then I can understand. But if OP was saying this in a way to like dig at her, then I would feel a little bit different. I think that the stepmother needs to go into therapy. I think that she has a lot of things to sort out, and I think that this incident just kind of proves that. She couldn't just sit by and be happy for their moment, right?
Well, that's the thing is like I understand potentially being a little hurt if she thought they had a closer bond than they did.
Yeah.
But the way she's going about this, and trying to step in and be like, no, this is my moment. If there's going to be a mother-son dance that's going to be with me, shows that she is not able to respect boundaries and all that stuff. So
Yeah, exactly. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And OK Strength 5245 says, info, is she a Karen on any other events? If she is, your quick reaction was appropriate. If not, there's something missing in your tale. Kicking her out may have been too much, and your quickness becomes suspect. And OP replies, there's a long history of difficulty with her regarding the role that she's played in my husband's life and her hatred for his sisters. So it sounds like this actually goes much, much deeper.
yeah. Well, that's not good if she hates his sisters.
And Willy Billy 61 says, not the jerk. For stepmother-in-law to try and interrupt and ruin and make a scene over what your husband's sister did for their brother explains a lot as to why stepmother was not considered for a divorce in the first place. She's probably being unappreciated and overbearing quite often since entering the family. You are right to do what you did. You protected an amazing moment from coming undone. We recently attended a wedding of a friend of our daughter's. When in junior high and most of high school, this girl didn't have a very good relationship with her stepdad and stepmother. It was strained. But at the reception, she danced with her father first, and then she surprised her stepfather. In another surprise, she had a bouquet that was designed so it could be split into two pieces, and presented one to her mother and the other to their stepmother. Both step-parents shed tears with the surprises. Well, that's actually very sweet.
Mm-hmm.
And OP replies, the history with her stepmother is so long, and honestly, that woman is so delusional and will never accept how my husband truly sees her. She cares little for his sisters, but he was supposed to be hers in her mind. I mean, that's a little bit concerning.
Yeah, it sounds like one of those situations where she wants a kid and the others are too old to get, so, well, he's mine now.
Yeah. And Willy Billy 61 saying, with his sisters being 17 years and older, they were much too old for her to attempt to influence and manipulate. And I wouldn't doubt that anything she tried to pull on their brother, they would have circled the wagons. And OP replies, you would be correct. She blames them for coming between her and my husband. I do believe that she truly hates all the girls. My husband said that her attitude was that they had their mother, and he should have been allowed to have a different one when he would be raised by her, stepmom, and not his mom. She never took his feelings into consideration on that. And so, I mean, it sounds like he made it very, very clear that he didn't want that kind of relationship with her. All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, Will I Be a Jerk If I Wear Other Rings on My Wedding Day? Throw away because my fiancé uses Reddit. We're getting married in 2 weeks, and we just had an argument that caught me off guard. It was about rings. It seemed small at first, but now it feels like a real issue. Me, a 28-year-old female, and my fiancé, a 31-year-old male, were talking about the final details of the wedding. I mentioned that I planned on wearing a couple of other rings along with my wedding band and engagement ring. Not on the same hand, just on my right hand and maybe pinky finger. I wear them all the time. One was my mom's before she passed away, and the other was my grandmother's. They both mean a lot to me. I'm not trying to make a statement with them. I just feel like they're a part of me. He told me that he doesn't really want me to wear them on our wedding day. He said that it should just be about the wedding ring, and that adding anything else takes away from what the day is supposed to represent. He also said that wearing something from someone else who's gone makes it feel like I'm bringing up the past into something that's supposed to be about the future. I told him that it's not about taking away meaning from the wedding, it's just about something that feels personal and comforting. I'm not trying to change the focus of the day. I just want to feel like myself. He said that I'm being dismissive and making it about me when it should be about both of us. Now I'm feeling conflicted. I don't want to upset him, but I also don't think that what I'm doing is disrespectful. It's not about refusing to let go of the past. It's about carrying something that matters with me. Would I be the jerk if I wore the rings anyway? All right, folks, what do you think?
Absolutely, you would not be the jerk. And I would honestly reconsider the wedding over this. Because you do bring the past into the future. Like, is he going to expect you to never think about these people who you loved who are gone? It is very common and normal for people to have mementos of family members who've passed and have tributes to them at the wedding. I think it's a very small but very nice gesture. And there's nothing wrong even with wearing jewelry that has no like significance to you on your wedding day if you find it pretty. The fact that he would try and make you ditch this very important part of your history and be like, it takes away from the day. No, it doesn't. Because the day is about two people coming together with their loved ones. And not all your loved ones can be there physically, so this is your way of doing it.
Yeah, and I mean, not to mention, how does the poem go? Something old, something new, something borrowed, something blue.
Mm-hmm.
It's right there. Like, there's tradition of bringing something old into the wedding, right? And this
Yeah.
could be her something old. So I don't know why he would have a problem with this. He's acting like the ring is going to like summon his mother, the OP's mother rather, and that she's going to be like right there, in front of the whole stage, causing chaos and mayhem or something like that, right? Like, this isn't a genie ring. It's not going to like summon someone. The thing is, like, the least that he can do is appreciate her feelings on this and allow her to have a small part of her mother and grandmother there. And I think that this is very short-sighted of him.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to breed a lot of resentment.
Yeah, and it makes me concerned about the how he sees things in the future. Does he see her having relationships with other people in the future, or is it we're not bringing the past into the future type of deal? Like, where does that begin and end?
Yeah, so it does concern me a lot. So I think that she needs to sit down and try to understand his motives deeper. I mean, hopefully this is just stress and nerves and that he isn't like this normally. But if this is something the way that he is normally, then it may be time for her to sit and reflect on this relationship and find out if this is really the person that she wants to get married to.
Right.
But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Sloth Goals says, OP, if I knew what I know now about life, relationships, and marriage, and I was you, I would not go through with this wedding. Do not fall for the sunk cost fallacy if you're debating whether or not to proceed. That said, can someone state an actual real and or logical reason why the other non-wedding ring jewelry a person wears on their body during their wedding ceremony should be anyone's business but their own? Can OP veto the hypothetical watch that he wants to wear that he was given by his deceased father or grandfather? I can understand that if it was a piece of jewelry given by a former lover or partner. Other than that, I think that OP's fiance sounds like he just wants to hurt and confuse her. It feels like he's laying down the groundwork for a controlling, emotionally abusive relationship where he has the upper hand. It's bizarre to me that he wouldn't actively support her in wearing pieces of jewelry from her mother and grandmother. How much more wholesome does that get? Why does he feel threatened by these dead women? He doesn't. The whole point is just to make her do something that she doesn't really want to do, and that makes her sad, when there's no reason to do it. And also, what in the world does this mean? Adding anything else takes away from that day and what it's supposed to represent. I thought weddings represented the joining of two families, not just about the bride and the groom in a vacuum. Why is he so opposed to including anything that is from or about someone other than him? And OP replies, thank you for taking the time to write all of this out. Reading your comment honestly has made me really feel seen. I've been going back and forth in my head trying to figure out if I was just being emotional or overly attached to the idea of rings. But you're right. There really isn't a good reason for him to be this upset about something that's so personal and harmless. And the way you said it, he might just want me to do something that makes me sad for no real reason. Yeah, that hit. I'm definitely starting to look at this more clearly now. I'm glad that OP is starting to see this more clearly.
Yeah.
Alright folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Warning My Half-Sister that she won't be invited to my wedding if she continues to push me to ask her mom to walk me down the aisle? I'm a 29-year-old female and I lost my mom when I was very young, 4, and my dad met the mother of my half-sister when I was 8. They had my half-sister together and married when I was 10. When I was 13, my dad died. I chose to live with my grandparents and had regular contact with my half-sister, but I did not keep in touch with her mom. My half-sister had her own phone since she was young, so I didn't really see a need to have a contact with her, and I was never fond of her mother to begin with. I always found her annoying and frustrating to be around. I used to stress being around her because when she would offer to help Dad out with me, she would make me late for everything, even school. It was never something that she took seriously, though, and my dad had to stop her from helping out. But it bothered her. More than that, I was so glad that she wasn't doing it anymore. She would complain about my friends' parents not treating her like my legitimate parent. I was stuck in the car with her for 40 minutes while she complained about some of them. She said that I could start calling her stepmom instead of Dad's girlfriend, which she was, by the way, so they would take her more seriously. Her mom was upset by the fact that I didn't like her or want her to stay in touch with me. She tried to keep me with her and my half-sister after my dad died, but plans were already in place to instruct where I would go and who would have custody if Dad were to die. It really upset my half-sister as she got older that I didn't remember much about my mom, and yet I wouldn't let her mom be my mom even once when I became an orphan. Eventually, we came to an agreement that we didn't have to be on the same side of the debate, but we just wouldn't talk about it. Now, my wedding has presented a chance for my half-sister to push the narrative that her mom somehow has this important role in my life, and that she should walk me down the aisle since she's already the only parent that I have left, in my half-sister's mind. I shut that down hard. My half-sister pushed the issue more. She told me that I have no valid reason for saying no. I explained that I don't need one. That is my wedding and that her mom isn't even invited. My half-sister said that she should be, and she complained that I put her boyfriend's name on the invite instead of just a regular +1 because she would have brought her mom and her mom would have been there and I would have needed to give her a role in that case. I explained that even if she had done that, her mom would have been an unwanted guest and not a parent of the bride and would have had zero role. She has refused to lay off, so I warned her that if she continues this, then I won't invite her to the wedding. My half-sister told me that I couldn't leave her off the guest list, and I told her that I could and I would. I reminded her that this is my wedding and not hers, and she doesn't automatically get an invite. She's saying that I'm cold-hearted, and my threat is unfair when she's doing the right thing. I told her that we disagree on that. She said this whole issue is my fault and not hers. Am I the jerk? All right, folks, what do you think?
No, not the jerk. The audacity of this woman to try and dictate who does this at your wedding.
Yeah.
Like, you are not obligated to have anyone walk you down the aisle, even if you have a good relationship with them.
Yeah.
But your stepmom is a entity in your life, essentially. So her whole logic of, wow, you should have just given me a generic +1 so I could have brought my mom and made her walk you down the aisle. Like, that's not how anything works. And I think if she's going to be this pushy, then maybe she doesn't need to be at the wedding.
This might be the beginning of the end of their relationship because I think that there's going to be a lot of stress from here. I think that while OP, has the best of intentions here, their sister clearly has a lot of issues regarding their mother and the role that they should be playing in OP's life, and I don't know that they're ever going to reconcile that. So I don't think that there is a solution to this other than potentially just uninviting her and saying, I can't risk having you bring your mom or something like that and causing a scene.
Yeah, or make sure that security knows what the mom looks like and not to let her in under any circumstances. But be sure that you know that stepsister is not going to do something on the day if she's going to be there.
But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here, and Amber, she has a joke.
How do jungle animals figure things out?
Oh, how do jungle animals figure things out? Well, I would imagine that they would use jungle gems of the mind to clarify their thoughts.
They take wild guesses.
Ah.
And it's Take a Wild Guess Day today.
So, much like the stories that we have today, make sure to take a wild guest to a wedding that you're about to attend. It'll go over swimmingly, I assure you. And I have Earl Grey. Alright, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy, terrific Tuesday, spelled TWO. Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance, and please have it on wedding warfare.
Respect the way other people run their weddings, as long as it doesn't require put unreasonable burdens on you.
I think that works. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye!